It's a region 7 times larger than Europe. A 14,000-kilometre realm dominated by warm tropical waters, unique ecosystems, and exceptional animals. It is the Asia Pacific. And it boasts more lethal creatures on land and under the seas than anywhere else on Earth. Some are familiar, others seldom seen, but all have ingenious methods to hunt and defend. Dive into the jungle, grasslands, and reef, and come face to face with Asia Pacific's deadliest animals. Two of the world's largest bodies of water, the Pacific and Indian Oceans, border the region known as the Asia Pacific. It spans from Southeast Asia through Indonesia and down to Australia. It's a region of wildly different environments and cultures. Habitats here range from jungle to farmland, volcanic mountains to tropical beaches. One family of animals has mastered all of these settings. They are hunters, armed with an extraordinary range of weapons and strategies. Snakes. They hunt invisibly, from above. Flourishing in remote forests as well as nearby plantations. And too often, they come into contact with us. When surprised, this snake often chooses fight over flight. The white-lipped green-pit viper. The green pit slithers on the ground, but is often found in the trees using its agile tail to grasp branches and its scales to blend into the foliage. It's found throughout Southeast Asia, but across the islands of Indonesia, this one small snake causes up to 50% of all venomous bites. Human fatalities are rare, but birds, small frogs, and rodents may not be so lucky. Once hidden, the green pit uses a combination of tools to hunt. First, the snake uses its tongue like a nose to track its prey, sticking it into the air to pick up scent molecules. Its two forked tips deposit the molecules into the Jacob's organ, located on the roof of its mouth. This organ tells the brain that the scent comes from a potential meal. Once locked onto a scent, the ambush hunter settles in place and waits, hanging motionless, coiled in a characteristic S shape, ready to pounce. As prey approaches, the pit viper employs its most remarkable attribute, its pits. These pit-shaped organs contain membranes which can sense the heat given off by warm-blooded prey. The snake processes the information with the same part of its brain that it uses for vision, resulting in a thermal image superimposed onto the visual one. This enables the viper to hone in on its target with pinpoint accuracy. Hinged fangs rest against the roof of the mouth, ready to pop open like a switchblade. They pierce deep into the mouse, releasing a hemotoxin, which begins working immediately, breaking down and destroying blood vessels, causing massive internal bleeding. Once the toxin takes effect, the green pit uses its fangs to drag the prey into its mouth, head first and whole. This snake is probably responsible for more bites to humans than any other species in its range. But another viper holds the title of most dangerous. The Malayan pit viper. This nighttime hunter is less than a meter long, but it's armed with some of the longest fangs of any snake its size. It dwells in the lush coastal rainforests and bamboo thickets throughout much of Southeast Asia, from Vietnam to Java. But it's also common in overgrown farmlands, rubber plantations and rice paddies. Places with plenty of prey and plenty of people. Unlike the green pit viper, this snake is a true ground dweller. During the day, the serpent blends into dead leaves or low brush, remaining poised for weeks on end. The greatest danger for humans is accidentally stepping on it. When disturbed, it doesn't hood like a cobra or shake its tail like a rattlesnake. Instead, it strikes without warning. One group of workers is particularly vulnerable: rubber tappers. They usually work at night, the same time the snake works, hunting its next meal with heat-seeking pits. Their pits are so sensitive they can locate prey thousandths of a degree warmer than the surrounding air. Lightning-fast reflexes make this strike swift. Pit organs make it precise, and fangs make it deadly. They're up to 2 centimeters long and deliver one of the world's most potent venoms. Hemotoxins destroy blood vessels and kill tissue. Toxins dissolve prey from the inside out, allowing the viper to swallow its meal whole and digest it over days. This bite can be fatal to humans. Strength of the bite, the strength of the victim, and the distance. The Malayan pit viper strikes using enormous fangs. But another snake can strike without ever touching its victim. The southern Indonesian spitting cobra packs a powerful venom and can deliver it like a sharpshooter. True to its name, it can only be found in southwestern Indonesia, from the islands of Java east to Alor. But within its small range, this 1.5 meter long predator hunts in a variety of habitats: farms, fields, and urban areas. Anywhere human habitation encourages large numbers of rodents, a favorite prey. Like other venomous snakes, this serpent injects its venom through hollow fangs. But this snake may strike repeatedly. Neurotoxin venom blocks communication between the prey's nervous system and muscles, causing everything inside the rodent's body to stop moving, including the muscles that power the lungs. Death comes in minutes. Venom is this cobra's best weapon, but it's also a key mode of defense. When threatened, its first tactic is to intimidate. It rears up, making itself appear larger and more menacing. By spreading the ribs and skin behind its head, it reveals the characteristic cobra hood. If that fails, the snake has developed a sophisticated means of attack: an airstrike. Venom up to 2 meters. The snake does. The snake does. As it reaches the tip of the fangs, the intense pressure propels the venom forward like a blast from a water gun. It has no effect on the skin. The eyes are the target, and the cobra spits with incredible accuracy. One shot sends the victim into immediate pain. The toxins rapidly irritate the cornea and inflame the eye's protective membrane, causing painful stinging that can lead to blindness if left untreated. The jungles and grasslands of the Asia-Pacific host a wide range of deadly snakes. They're armed with long fangs, blinding speed, and deadly toxins. But one snake hunts without venom. The world's longest snake, the reticulated python. It can grow up to 10 meters and weigh over 140 kilograms, equivalent to 2 grown men. This colossal serpent doesn't use venom to kill its prey. It uses brute strength. 10,000 powerful muscles squeeze its dinner to death. Reticulated pythons can be found from India to Indonesia, a region packed with hot, humid rainforests, rivers, and dark caves. These places give the snake the cover it needs to hide its massive body, while it waits in ambush. It uses its intercrossed or reticulated pattern to blend into its surroundings. Elliptical cat-like pupils open wide to allow in all available light and optimize night vision. Heat-sensing pit organs detect the body heat of passing prey, and chemical sensors on its tongue pick up odors from the air. All these tools guide the python to its ultimate act. powerful jaws with over 80 sharp, backward curving teeth latch onto prey and dig into flesh to prevent escape. Then the serpent constricts with an unflinching power on every part of the prey's body, stopping the flow of blood and oxygen and suffocating its victim. Like most snakes, pythons swallow prey whole using a unique lower jaw that's detached at the front. This ingenious design allows the snake to spread its jaws wider than its skull and consume prey larger than itself. Highly elastic skin accommodates the large meal, while the jaws move over the prey. The reticulated python may spend a week digesting its meal, and this giant can go a year without eating. But it's not the only record holder in terms of size. The world's longest snake shares the Asia-Pacific with the world's largest lizard. A real-life dragon, the Komodo. These huge lizards live on a few small islands in southeast Indonesia. But where they live, they dominate. At 3 meters long and weighing 130 kilograms, the Komodo dragon is larger than a man. And they can move their bulk with surprising speed, traveling at up to 18 kilometers per hour. But Komodos rarely chase down their prey. Instead, they simply wait for it to stray too close and lunge. Each sprawling leg is equipped with 5 sharp claws to grab and hold its meal. Its mouth supports 60 sharp, serrated teeth, designed not to chew, but to slice and tear flesh. Then they swallow their bites whole. Bones, hooves, claws, and all. Like a shark, new teeth appear behind the old ones. But the Komodo is not remarkable for how it eats its prey, but for how it catches it. Its drool is not an aesthetic gesture. It's another weapon in the dragon's deadly arsenal. This foul-smelling saliva contains roughly 50 species of bacteria, 7 of which can cause severe blood poisoning. One bite delivers the toxic saliva, leaving the injured animal to wander away and die from infection within hours. The Komodo then employs its last tool to recover its kill, an excellent sense of smell. Sensors on its long forked tongue detect the scent of rotting flesh nearly 11 kilometers away. But the stench also attracts other dragons. Komodos keep ahead of the competition by gorging, devouring 2.5 kilograms of meat in a single minute. They store the excess fat reserves in their long tails, enabling them to go for over a month without eating. In the race to the top of the predatory food chain, the Komodo is king. Giant snakes and lizards present clear and obvious dangers. But animals with finely honed weaponry aren't limited to dry land. The sapphire waters of the Asia-Pacific harbor their own dazzling array of deadly creatures, including a deadly snake that swims. The bite of the banded sea crate. It's one of the most potent creatures in the Asia-Pacific region. Armed with venom more deadly than most cobras, these snakes share a common ancestry. But the sea crate isn't as aggressive towards people. A free-swimming sea crate will almost always avoid confrontation. This serpent usually saves its deadly bite for the hunt. It scours the coral reefs for prey, from the Bay of Bengal across the South China Sea to the Pacific. It can survive on land and at sea, but it's supremely equipped for aquatic life. Its right lung fills nearly the length of its body. This enables it to dive 10 meters below the surface and stay submerged for at least half an hour as it hunts for fish and eels. A stroke of its flattened paddle-like tail propels it forward for the strike. Its small fangs don't inject large amounts of venom. Instead, the sea crate must latch onto the eel, ensuring it cannot escape. Neurotoxins shut down the nervous system and immobilize the victim, whilst myotoxins bind to muscle fibers, rapidly destroying them. The eel dies of suffocation. But while sea crates do prey on eels, sometimes it's the eel that wins. It hides in the reef by day and emerges to hunt after dark. The moray eel. Using sharp teeth and powerful jaws to capture and kill its meal. Even at rest, it looks aggressive, but this menacing gape enables the moray to breathe. The eel gets its oxygen from the water, so it must constantly open and close its mouth. Over 100 different species of moray eels thrive throughout the Asia-Pacific region. Some measure only 30 centimeters. Others are up to 3.5 meters long. All are supported by a flexible spine, built for maneuvering in tight spaces. The moray finds shelter in these crevices and prey. Like many ocean creatures, the moray often feeds at night. But different eels use different senses to capture a variety of prey. Fish eaters rely on eyesight. But morays, which prey on camouflaged crustaceans, must depend on an acute sense of smell. Morays have 2 nostrils on each side of their head. These nostrils are set wide apart to accommodate a large olfactory organ. Water flows into the nostrils and over the organ, enabling the moray to detect smells at incredibly low concentrations. But the eel must combat its prey's tactics: speed, camouflage, claws, and spines. By using its own strong muscles and an element of surprise, the moray delivers its bite in 500 microseconds. Faster than the blink of an eye. And it's actually 2 bites in one. The second comes from an extra jaw inside its throat. As the moray bites on this squid, a second set of jaws emerges to grab its food. This double bite and dozens of sharp teeth prevent escape, most of the time. But this pufferfish thwarts the attack by pumping water through its mouth and into its stomach, expanding like a beach ball, becoming larger than this eel can bite. This time, the pufferfish wins. A moray eel's bite is not the only lightning-fast strike in the sea. This is one of the most vicious weapons of any creature. A savage whip. A sharp, saw-edged barb. It inflicts jagged wounds, injects venom, and sometimes kills. This deadly defense is wielded by an otherwise docile and delicate creature. The stingray. Species reside here in the Asia-Pacific's warm coastal waters. They're often found in water less than a meter deep, just steps from shore, where people fish or swim. When hunting, they sweep the ocean floor, rooting up crabs, shrimps, and clams. Here, they're easily spotted and avoided. But most of the time, they hide. The animal's timid nature makes it more dangerous to humans. With a few flaps of their wing-like fins, stingrays can bury themselves in the sand, rendering them almost invisible to predators. An accidental footstep triggers the ray's defensive weapon. The stingray arches its tail, much like a scorpion, driving the razor-sharp serrated barb deep into any potential threat. The barb is bathed in venom, which flows directly into the wound. The chemical serotonin triggers instant agony. In serious cases, toxic enzymes destroy skin and muscle tissue. As they reach the brain, they block nerve signals to the critical organs, causing an irregular heartbeat and labored breathing. Removing the barb tears the wound further and inflicts greater damage. Life-threatening stings are rare, but they can happen when a swimmer makes their heart and lungs vulnerable by gliding directly over the ray. Stingrays have killed 17 people worldwide and delivered untold pain and suffering. Stingrays can hide themselves and their toxic barbs. But an equally venomous fish advertises its lethal weapon. Brilliantly coloured spines stand out like the proud mane of a lion, giving this fish a most fitting name: the lionfish. But this display is a dangerous beauty. Each spine is filled with venom. This basic design is the calling card of a large family of fish called scorpionfish. Lionfish are the family's most flamboyant members, and some of the most toxic. The lionfish hunts by herding. It extends its fins and spines like open arms, confusing and cornering its prey. Then it consumes its trapped meal whole. But it doesn't actually use its spines to hunt. It reserves those for self-defense against predators, like sharks, or anything that would dare to invade its territory. But sometimes when the lionfish flaunts its finery, the intruder misses the message. Venom-filled spines flood the victim with a complex cocktail of toxins. Neurotransmitters trigger muscle contractions, causing severe pain. In extreme cases, a rapid drop in blood pressure, hyperventilation, and an irregular heartbeat can occur. Lionfish are active in shallow coral beds. Human encounters often happen. Lionfish and their scorpionfish brethren sting an estimated 40 to 50,000 people a year. The creatures of the coral reef take on predators and prey with complex venom and ingenious delivery systems. But animals in the Asia-Pacific region can also be dangerous in unexpected ways. This tiny jellyfish is only the size of a human fingernail and nearly invisible, and yet it is one of the deadliest creatures in the sea. It is the irukandji. Until the mid-1960s, its very existence and its threat to humans was completely unknown. It's a member of the box jellyfish family, which gets its name from the distinct boxed shape. But it's usually not the box that you need to avoid. It's the venomous tentacles that dangle from its sides. Box jellyfish are often considered the most venomous creatures on the planet. The tiny irukandji packs the same lethal punch, but with an added threat. There's almost no way to see it coming. It has killed at least 2 people in the last decade and is suspected of many more deaths. It lives in the waters of northern Australia. One sight of it can render entire beaches off-limits to humans. These are the weapons they want to avoid. Tentacles up to 1 meter long, covered with millions of nematocysts or venomous barbs. Inside every tooth sits a coiled barb bathed in cardio and neurotoxic venom. At the slightest touch, the barb explodes into the victim like a spring-loaded harpoon, penetrating the skin at 1/200th of a second and releasing its venom directly into the bloodstream. Unlike other venomous jellyfish, the irukandji's attack is often undetectable. The victim is often left with no pain, no marks, and no clue that they've been stung. Until 30 minutes later, when the toxins reach the heart and nervous system. Then the sudden onset of symptoms. Pain beyond measure racks the entire body. It's known as the Irukandji syndrome. In rare cases, blood pressure doubles, heart rate triples, and death from stroke or heart failure occurs. No one knows exactly why a creature that hunts the tiniest of prey needs a weapon powerful enough to kill a human. But it's an ingenious system for catching small fish. The Irukandji snares prey with its long tentacles, paralyzing it instantly. Then it contracts its tentacles, pulling the prey inside its bell. Here, stomach enzymes start digesting the fish alive. While the jellyfish has a frightening reputation, few birds evoke fear. But in the Asia-Pacific region, one bird is armed and dangerous. The cassowary. It stands as tall as a grown man, nearly 2 meters. It can weigh as much as 60 kilograms. The cassowary can't fly, but it can run over 50 kilometers an hour. The real danger comes from this, a 13-centimeter dagger-like claw. One swipe can tear flesh and break bones. But the cassowary is not a predator. It feasts on fungi and small reptiles, but its main diet is fruit. Its threat to humans comes when we underestimate this animal's power and temperament. The cassowary lives in Australia and neighboring New Guinea. Here, tourism and increasing development bring more and more humans deeper into its world. Feeding the birds has emboldened an otherwise shy creature, changing its behavior. In 150 reported cassowary attacks, 70% involve the animal chasing and charging a human. Sometimes defending their chicks, other times aggressively seeking food. Human fatalities are rare. In Australia, only one death from a cassowary attack has ever been reported. But the birds have fared far worse. Habitat loss and car accidents have taken a huge toll. In Australia, the cassowary's numbers have dwindled from thousands to an estimated 1,200. Invisible attacks under the sea and unexpected threats on land. Just 2 more deadly surprises in the Asia-Pacific. But for sheer power, stealth, and the ability to invoke both awe and terror, one creature stands above them all. The Sumatran tiger.
I was thrown down. Then I felt a tremendous pain in my arm. There was a lot of blood.
The Sumatran tiger is the smallest of the world's 3 tiger subspecies, including India's Bengal and Russia's Siberian tigers. It stretches for 2 meters and weighs up to 120 kilograms. The smaller size enables the cat to move quickly through the thick undergrowth of its home, the Indonesian island of Sumatra. This 480,000 square kilometer expanse is the perfect setting for this predator, whether on land or water. It feasts on all available prey: deer, other mammals, and even birds. This hunter is also hunted by humans. Once, thousands of tigers roamed this island. Now only about 250 remain in the wild, and humans are encroaching on the last remaining habitat faster than ever. Illegal logging has destroyed over 80% of the Sumatran tiger's habitat and eliminated much of its natural prey. Sometimes causing the tiger to turn on us. In the last 30 years, Sumatran tigers have killed at least 150 people. A fact one cattle farmer named Hermanto knows all too well. Hermanto raises his livestock at the jungle's edge, prime tiger territory.
Aku udah ngarit.
On a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, I had barely begun to cut grass to feed my cattle.
But this morning, something is watching him. Dense growth surrounds the small clearing, making this ideal tiger hunting ground. The Sumatran tiger's stripes are narrower than other tiger subspecies, allowing the huge cat to virtually disappear in the tall, thin grasses. Here it waits, silent and patient, for prey to come within range. Once focused on its target, the tiger approaches from behind, ensuring a stealth attack. Hermanto has no idea he's being stalked. The cat's body is designed for just this purpose. Its ultra-flexible spine arches like a bow, while its massive leg muscles deliver one sudden burst of power.
I was swinging the sickle, and suddenly I was on the ground, thrown down. Something had bitten me from behind.
Hermanto barely catches a glimpse of his attacker.
It was yellow with stripes, and big. It was around 5 feet in length.
Tigers target their attacks at their victim's throat, clamping their 7.5 centimeter canines with 450 kilograms of force. It's a bite intended to kill instantly. When it lands on the victim's neck, it can sever the spine, puncture an artery, or crush the windpipe for quick suffocation. But Hermanto is lucky. The tiger misses his mark, seizing him by the shoulder instead of the throat.
I felt the pain. I was aware my arm was smashed.
His dog begins to bark wildly. Though a quarter of the tiger's size, it scares off the huge cat and chases after it. The farmer's pet may have saved his life, but Hermanto has suffered grave wounds, a punctured shoulder and shattered arm.
There was a lot of blood. I saw that my arm was completely broken. Then I tried to move it, but it just hurt too badly. My arm was torn open.
Luckily, Hermanto's brother finds him staggering home. He spends 2 weeks in the hospital recovering from these deep wounds. It's over a year before he returns to work, continuing to make his living in tiger territory.
Right now, I am not the least afraid.
Conservationists are working to protect humans and preserve the tiger's habitat. Better land management and stronger control of illegal logging and poaching may limit fatalities on both sides. So the Sumatran tiger might continue to rule the jungle. They embody all of nature's grandeur and power, with a vast array of survival skills and defenses. The Asia-Pacific's deadliest animals.